I do want to talk a little bit about AEW first as well, and just some interesting or some information that I think is interesting rather, and I had to talk about, and I want to hear your thoughts on as well. So, like I said, definitely I know you guys will, but if you're watching our replay, also I do want to know people's thoughts because I think this one was one of those stories where when it first came out, it definitely obviously got a lot of talk and hype and things like that. But I think it was very 50-50 too. It was one of those where you're split. And that is Tony Khan and Shane McMahon. The what was it? Was it October, September, October timeframe when John Moxley defeated Brian Danielson and I'm not gonna say try to kill him, but he kind of tried to kill him. Put the glass bag over his head, all that stuff. Followed that up with essentially saying this isn't your company anymore to Tony Khan through Tony Schiavone, and there was alluding to a higher power, which was the whole thing, and it got me going because right after that there was pictures of, or not pictures, but a picture of Tony Khan and Shane McMahon that was just so happened to be released right on the good old internet. um, this is still just a comical picture. Let's see if I can pull that up again. But a lot of people shot it down immediately. Even I listened to PW Torch a lot, and even Wade Keller had was one of those who said that Shane is not going over to AEW. So I was still just one of those people that I know it's probably not going to happen, and it was most likely just something that got blew up out of proportion, and the whole releasing of the photo was just in that to generate hype and discussion and things like that. But man, it just really sparked a lot of what ifs in my brain, and why not? You know what I mean? That's just kind of my mindset with Elijah. I just kind of go with like, why not? Just fuck it. I think I might take. Let me know if you guys can hear my dog chewing on this bone because it bothers the hell out of me. It's that hammer, man, that I've referenced before. Let me know if you guys can hear it because I may end up taking it away regardless, but I definitely don't want it to annoy you guys. But um, yeah. So that was the beginning of it, and then it kind of died down. No, no one really put more stock into it, but I don't remember the exact time frame. Shortly after that, not too long, maybe like a month or so. I don't know the exact time frame, but the Young Bucks were spotted. Possibly, I don't even know the. Again, guys, don't come to me for exact specifics, right? Unless I can pull up the article right here and there. But the Young Bucks took a photo with our friend Shane McMahon again. So Shane had been making the rounds, right? Shane had popped up twice in a short time frame with the top people in AEW, right? So here's the picture. I'm gonna share my screen here in a minute. Oh, and it's Reddit. Oh, Wrestle Talk. Shout out to Wrestle Talk. It's so funny the first links that end up getting pulled up. All right. So this is the infamous photo that we all remember, right? Of course, with Shane McMahon, our guy Shane right there. Looking, and in my opinion, Tony, again, this is just me, my own opinion, my own 2 cents, my judgment, and I could be completely 100% wrong, and that's totally okay. My interpretation of their reactions is Tony is kind of look at that little smirk. Like look at that tiny little smirk. He's kind of like expecting it to happen and trying not to smirk too hard, but trying to be shocked as well. And then Shane is leaning over there like, really? What the fuck? Really? In regards to the person whoever took this picture. So that's just my 2 cents about the reactions of that. Um but I think this was, again, this generated the buzz and the discussion that Tony Khan essentially won it, right? And AEW won it. But nothing really came of that. And it was really disappointing, in my opinion, because I thought that you really had an opportunity to have fun. And even if there was never any intention on bringing Shane in, and they genuinely did just run into each other, they being Tony Khan and Shane McMahon, just ran into each other in a Texas airport and decided to sit down and have a chat, I think you still could have had fun with it, man. You still could have done a little bit more, and I don't know, just and maybe that would have been, counterproductive, and maybe I'd have been saying the exact, saying the opposite, like don't get people's hopes up. But I think by you and by that photo being released, you can't release that photo and then not have people speculating, right? And not have even a small percentage of people, which is me, being, I guess you could say, like those the crazy aluminum hat wearing people, right? Like, if that's what you want to call it, it's like the crazy people out there who did buy in, like, maybe there is a small possibility that Shane could come in at some point. Um, and I wanted to pull up, we'll go with this one. Here is Shane with our favorite Buckaroos, the Young Bucks. And again, that's actually a really great photo. He looks great there. That's actually a really great photo of all of them. Very, very good quality. They just all look great. So it's just a shame, in my opinion. It's just a shame that nothing came. I just noticed Nick's shirt, the Ninja Turtle. Nothing came to fruition of this, and they ended up steering away from the higher power talk and ended up going in a different direction, which is still not 100% really clear. We know John Moxley is mad at AEW as a whole and wants to change the company, and it was take trying to take out people who weren't taking it seriously. But it's just still kind of convoluted, which we're not going to get into right here because I just don't want to get that frustrated right now. um, and there's just so much to get into, right? With that, like even just it's so tempting, but it's such a shame. But I bring all this up again because there was a little bit of an update, which I thought was pretty comical. If what was relayed is even remotely true. So, and you guys have probably already heard it by now. I just heard it earlier today. So I was like, what the fuck? But news has it, per Fightful Select, and I'm reading this from Reddit, or else I would tag Fightful Select, but I don't have access to that link. And this is just what Reddit had posted. So they said, per Fightful Select, more details on what happened with Tony Khan and Shane McMahon. Um, and I actually saw a video on it earlier, so I may see if I can throw that video in there in the notes as well. But it says a summary of the article. A source could not confirm if Shane McMahon requested equity in AEW, but stated he showed interest in running the company. Shane was reportedly unfamiliar with AEW's product and business module, and Tony Khan did not take the proposal seriously and may have seen it as a joke. Shane did not take being. Oh, okay, so I don't like this synopsis. Let me see if I can find more information. Because the information that I heard, yeah, it was from. So I don't know if you guys listened to. Yeah, okay, cool. So I'm gonna read it from this article, which is from WrestlingInc.com by Ella J. So I will definitely throw this in the show notes here. Okay. And this is where I heard it from. So that synopsis is actually they need to redo that synopsis because that misses a whole bunch of information. So, and this is from Jonathan Coachman, apparently. I'm gonna share the screen with you guys. I don't know where that title is coming from. It's kind of weird. When I was going to share it, it says something about like wrestlers being worse off, which has nothing to do with the article here, so I don't know what it was referring to. But the article starts out, well, it's the title is Jonathan Coachman, AEW's Tony Khan ghosted, quote unquote, Shane McMahon after bombshell meeting. So, of course, that meeting was the one that we were just referring to in Texas. Our guy, Shano. Starts off by saying last summer, AEW CEO Tony Khan and Shane McMahon, son of former WWE CEO Vince McMahon, met in the Arlington, Texas airport to talk about professional wrestling. According to former WWE broadcaster Jonathan Coachman, the coach, if you know, you know, man, it's crazy how long ago that was. Um, God, what a landscape it was back then. Shane made an enormous request to Khan in that conversation as well, causing the latter to cut off contract in the aftermath, or contact rather, sorry, in the aftermath. Quote, I have it on good authority that Shane McMahon asked for the world, Coachman said on the Coach and Bro show. He asked for equity in the company and he asked to come in and run the entire show. It was probably the first time that I said to myself, I actually agree with Tony Khan ghosting him because Tony ghosted Shane. It wasn't the other way around. And the fact that Shane was at the Super Bowl with his dad, it's like he can't figure out what he wants to do. And then this is what the Reddit article was referring to, I guess. Fightful Select has since provided additional details on the McMahon Khan meeting, noting that while they couldn't confirm Shane's alleged desire for equity, a source close to him believes he did want to run AEW, despite his lack of knowledge on the AEW product and its business model. Like Coachman's claim, that same source also indicates that Khan did not speak with Shane after their airport-based discussion, while adding that Shane didn't seem offended by Khan's lack of follow-up. I'm chuckling, and I'll get to that in a second. According to Fightful, Shane and AEW will not be doing extensive business together at this point, though a cameo appearance isn't ruled out. The outlet further notes that there was never an expansive plan for the former WWE executive to appear on AEW television or be involved in an official capacity. Um, that ad really almost cut that off, but it says Shane's last WWE appearance came at WrestleMania 39, in which an impromptu match against The Miz led to a torn quad and rapper Snoop Dogg stepping in as his replacement. Jesus, what a way to go out. So yeah, I chuckled because, and again, I really fuck with my guy Tony Khan, you know, but it's just it seems to be a common thread that he just doesn't get back to people or people just don't hear back from him or they just don't know what's going on or they just don't know like why they're not being used or something. And it's not good, you know, but it just makes me chuckle because at my job, they were literally just talking last week at this meeting that I went to that the number one complaint that customers have are people not getting back to them and not getting a callback or a response. And that's why it made me chuckle because it's literally that. Like and again, I guess Shane isn't upset because and Shane's fine, right? Like Shane does not need the money. Shane does not need the job. He is fine doing whatever he's doing, obviously, right? Or he would have made more of an attempt to get involved with something at this point or create something. But it's just funny that let me change this because these ads are gonna drive me nuts. But it's just funny that that's just the common thread that people just don't hear back from Tony. So yeah, I just thought that was pretty interesting that we got a little bit more information as to what the original, or I guess not even the original, that's incorrect, but what the plan, at least on one side, potentially was, and that being on the Shane side. And I think it's interesting that we have information potentially on what Shane was looking for, right? And if he did want equity in the company, and to essentially run the company, which I think kind of reminds me of what I believe it was Paul Heyman, right? Yeah, Paul Heyman wanted to do with TNA back, I don't even remember the year, with Dixie Carter when he wanted to go in there and be like, look, like I'll take the reins, but I need to have like full control, right? I need to come in here and do this. Not saying that Paul wanted equity or anything like that, as apparently Shane wanted. If again, and this is all if all this is even a fraction true, right? Just going off of that what if situation, if it was, that he it and I kind of see it on both sides, right? But that's what Shane wanted, right? And I don't blame him. If I'm Shane and I am pretty much putting my name not on the line, but I'm potentially jeopardizing and putting just a bad taste in WWE's and Triple H's and you know and everyone's in mouth with him going to the competition, right? and really not saying a fuck you, but really just making a statement like, yo, like apparently y'all didn't want me in WWE, so I'm over here. You know what I mean? I'm gonna show you what good I can do and what changes I can make and how I can improve the product, blah blah blah. But he needs the freedom to do so. And I can get if you're someone with Shane McMahon's name power, right? Not even saying he's the best fit for that role and it would even be the best idea, but if you're him, like I can see why he would want that, right? Like I'm not gonna probably want to be if I'm Shane McMahon, I'm not gonna want to risk damaging and straining rather my name and my relationship by going over here to AEW and without being able to truly have freedom to do what I want to do. Because if I'm going to go in there and I'm going to be handcuffed, then what's the point? You know, like I'm not just giving you my name. I'm not just like licensing my name type thing. So I get why he would request that, right? But on the same token, on the flip side, rather, yeah, on the flip side of the token, if I'm Tony Khan, I would probably say fuck that too, and probably couldn't think of a better way than saying "fuck that" than saying "fuck that," so that's probably why he didn't call him back, so I understand that, because that would be my response. You know, if I built this thing, and again, he Tony Khan had a lot of help, right? The Young Bucks, Kenny, Cody, all that, you know. But financing wise and really being the backbone and being the whole structure of AEW financially, putting your name on the line, getting the TV deals, putting your name out there, right? And reputation and all everything that all the resources and everything that Tony Khan has invested into AEW and the company and the brand and what he's done over the past what almost 6 years now. If I had a Shane McMahon coming over, a McMahon period, you know, especially a McMahon, wanting to have equity in my company, I would say, "Fuck that." You know what I mean? Especially if it's, like, equity, right? It's gonna be a certain percentage. I and to me, it would depend, possibly. Let me maybe rephrase that too. It depends on the amount of percentage that he wanted, right? If we're talking, like, 5, 10%, it's you're still gonna have final say so, right? Like you're still the Vince McMahon. Like you're still not gonna have any challenge prior, right? You're still not gonna have any challengers. You're still gonna be able to do what you want to do. But if he's talking like 50-50 or majority or anything like that, then that's when I would be like, I don't know what else to say than fuck that. So I'm just not gonna call back. You know what I mean? Because I don't want to be rude. But yo, like if he's just talking minimal 5-10% and you don't have any other majority shareholders or well, not even shareholders because you don't have shareholders, but majority ownership, right? Or anything, any other ownership besides his father, I think it is. But that's we don't and again, we don't know because it's a private company. But if there's nothing really preventing you from doing that and it's not really gonna be that big of a deal, then why not, you know? It may sound crazy, and again, like, there's a whole lot of money on the line, and I get why you probably wouldn't want to, and I'm not saying just why not just fucking here, take a piece, but depending on what he was truly looking for and if it was equity in the sense of, yes, like, owner like, a portion of the ownership of AEW, I would highly question that just red flag automatically, and then major burning or like scorching on fire flag, depending on what the percentage actually is. But yeah, like I would at least call him back and try to negotiate, right? At least try to see like okay, like you know, like maybe we can't do equity, but I can give you like something. I don't know, something, and then it should reaffirm too, and it should kind of be like a pat on the back or a good feeling, I guess. I don't know what other phrase to say, but it should just be a good feeling for Tony Khan that if and again, to put this out there, this is all a what if, right? If all of this is true. But if Shane truly did want a piece of this and truly wanted to be invested and really dive into this, because again, I don't know Shane, but Shane, we have heard, didn't have the best ideas a lot of the times, right? But he was the nicer Shane. He was a good businessman. Like we do know that he did leave WWE, I forget the year, because of differences and creative differences and business differences with his father, and that's a big deal, like, he coulda just skated on through and just been like, "I'm good, man, like, I'll be an executive, I'll be whatever title you need me to be, then you get that check, I'm Gucci," you know what I mean? But he said, "Fuck that," and he went off and he did his own thing, and he came back when he was ready to, and I've always respected Shane for that. Again, like, I get, like, you already had the upper hand, in a lot of areas, but the dude, in my opinion, didn't necessarily take the easiest road either, so I respect that. Um, but the point I was getting at with Tony Khan, why he should feel good about that if this is true, is because Shane, someone in the stature and the position of Shane McMahon and the knowledge that of Shane McMahon wanting to be involved with your company and potentially wanting to own a piece of your company should be a very rewarding and feeling for you, and it's like a a sign of accomplishment, right? And I know that's not really, it doesn't mean anything financially, right? So it really doesn't mean shit at the end of the day, or it doesn't add to your business necessarily, but I think it can, because if Shane's idea and perception, at least at this point, whatever, however many months ago it was that, yeah, like, I can be down with getting involved, but I wanna do this, and this, and I'm all I'm all in. Um, that should have been a sign like, "Okay, like, I'm doing the right thing, but I do just need help, right? And I do just need guidance," but I would never, if I was Tony Khan, give over 100% control or majority control or anything like that, so if that wasn't negotiable or anything like that, or he was completely gonna have to hand over the book, I can see why dude was probably like, "Nah, like, let me just not even call him back," because, again, what do I say nicely? But yeah, that's just the latest updates that we have there. I thought that was pretty interesting, and it just made me go back to think, like, what all this Death Rider story could have ended up being and what it potentially could have originally, like, planned out to be, and it deviated, so what if? Maybe maybe we'll get more information in the future, because I never really expected to get more information from it really at all. So I'm just happy that we got a little bit more of a platter, right? And this is, I think, like, maybe this is maybe like the appetizer. So I think we make it the entree next. I feel like this information came out for a reason. Is kind of my thoughts on it too, because it's so random in the time frame after all this was hot. To just now just kind of make its way out into the universe is very interesting to me. So we'll see, but